The VX4 LT is the entry-level model in VMAX's VX4 lineup with a claimed 34-mile range. The higher-end ST and GT versions offer bigger batteries and more range, but I'll be focusing on my LT version for this review. One of the first things I tested was the scooter's top speed and acceleration. VMAX rates the VX4 around 25 miles per hour top speed, and in my experience, that holds true. On flat city streets with the throttle wide open, I've hit about 25 miles per hour. I'm not a lightweight rider, so seeing it reach the mid-20s in miles per hour was actually satisfying. It's not a crazy racing scooter, but it's plenty quick for city commuting. The secret of all the VMAX scooters is their ability to deliver a huge amount continuous electrical currents without slowing down like their cheaper competitors. I'll get to this in detail in just a little bit, but for now, more impressive to me than the raw top speed is the acceleration. The VX4 LT really has some punch off the line. There are different ride modes. In the highest mode, the scooter launches eagerly from a standstill. Of course, with decent speed, you need good brakes, and the VX4 delivers a very confident stopping experience. This scooter actually has a triple braking system, a drum brake on the front wheel, a disc brake on the rear, and regenerative braking on the motor whenever you pull the brake levers. In practice, this means when I squeeze the brakes, I can feel the scooter shed speed quickly and smoothly. Typically, I use both brake levers together, which engages all the braking power. The deceleration feels strong but controlled. It doesn't jolt me forward harshly, but it definitely can come to a stop in a short distance. Range was a big consideration for me since the VX4 LT is rated for 34 miles. I'll be upfront. Real-world range is always different from the ideal numbers, and my experience is no exception. That 34-mile claim is likely based on a lighter rider going slow on flat ground in eco mode in my everyday riding mix, which includes going close to top speed, often tackling hills and some off-roading. On average, I've been getting roughly 20 to 25 miles out of a full battery before the charge gets pretty low. But if you want more range and go even further, the VX4 has two bigger siblings, the ST and LT variants that offer a huge bump in battery size with 46 and 62 miles of range. Ride comfort is where the VMAX VX4 really shines in my opinion. This scooter comes with full suspension. There's a shock-absorbing fork in the front and dual shocks in the rear, and it makes a noticeable difference in smoothing out the ride. On suburban streets, I encounter the usual mix of rough asphalt, cracks, and the occasional pothole. The VX4's suspension soaks up the minor bumps with ease. When I roll over a manhole cover or expansion joint in the road, I hear it more than I feel it. The suspension isn't super plush like a mountain bike. Really big potholes or curbs will still be felt, and I try to avoid those or take them very slowly. But for the typical bumps and dips of urban riding, it makes the ride so much nicer. The 10-inch tires complement the suspension as well. The VX4 LT comes with hybrid knobby tires that are wide and air-filled. Initially, I wondered if knobby off-road style tires would feel rough on smooth pavement, but I actually find them pretty good on the road. They have a bit of a tread hum at higher speeds on asphalt, but they grip well and add extra shock absorption due to the air volume. Ooh. Ooh. Looks really good. Looks really good for such a fall, eh? Another factor in comfort is the scooter's deck and overall ergonomics. The deck on the VX4 is generous in size. I can easily fit both feet on it, either side by side or one behind the other. It's long enough that I can adjust my stance during longer rides, which helps prevent leg fatigue. The deck has a grippy surface that keeps my shoes planted even if it's wet. I also appreciate the handlebar height and width. The bars are fairly wide and sit at a comfortable height. The wide bars give me good leverage for steering and help with stability as well. After an hour of riding, I've noticed I don't feel as tired or sore as I did on my older, smaller scooter. Since the VX4 LT is equipped with those knobby tires and full suspension, I was really curious how it would handle off-road paths. I'm not talking extreme off-roading or downhill mountain biking trails, but I did take it on some light trails, hard-packed dirt paths, a bit of gravel, and across a grassy park. The scooter handled handled these scenarios surprisingly well. On a dry dirt trail with some small rocks and ruts, I was able to maintain a decent speed without feeling out of control. The tires had enough bite to keep from sliding, and the suspension absorbed the washboard texture of the trail so my knees weren't turning to jelly. I even climbed a gentle grassy slope and rode through some bumpy grass fields. The VX4 powered through, though I had to keep my knees bent and absorb the motions. I have a few steep hill roads in my area. One in particular has about a 20% grade. On my previous scooter, I would have to hop off and walk it up that kind of hill. The VMAX VX4, however, is built for torque. It has a 500-watt motor with up to 1600-watt peak output that is tuned for climbing. I approached the steep hill, got a bit of speed, and then just maintained throttle. The VX4 slowed down as it hit the steepest part, but it never gave up. It carried me all the way up to the top under its own power. I was honestly thrilled because I expected it might stall out halfway. On more moderate hills, it flies up with hardly any drop in speed even if I'm not in the highest mode. I like that I don't have to stick strictly to smooth pavement. It adds a lot of freedom to my rides. Let's talk about how the scooter is built, because when you invest in something like this, you want it to last. The VMAX VX4 feels extremely solid in terms of build quality. From the moment I unboxed it and assembled the handlebars, I could tell the frame was well made. It uses a sturdy aluminum frame, and everything from the stem to the deck to the swing arms for the suspension feels robust. There are no creaking noises or wobbles when I ride. The stem locking mechanism is solid and locks tightly with no flex that I can detect while riding. A crucial point because a wobbly stem can be scary at speed. After putting a few hundred miles on the scooter, I haven't encountered any loose bolts or rattling parts. I did go over the scooter after the first couple of weeks with an Allen wrench to check bolt tightness, and everything was already snug. The scooter also comes with a 24-month warranty, which is longer than average. I haven't had to use it, but it suggests the company trusts the scooter's durability. Another aspect of build quality is the load capacity. The VX4 is rated to carry up to 330 pounds, which is quite high. I'm well below that limit, but it means the frame, stem, and axle components are designed to handle a lot of stress. That speaks to the strong motor and sturdy build. Durability-wise, I've been a bit rough at times, jumping off curbs and riding on bumpy trails, and nothing has broken. The folding mechanism still clicks firmly, the suspension is still quiet and effective, and the lights and the electronics all still work perfectly. I feel like this scooter is built to last and take some abuse. It's not a delicate gadget, it's more like a solid vehicle. For an entry-level performance scooter, the VMAX VX4 LT exceeded my expectations in build quality. The VX4 LT comes with a nice big LCD display centered on the handlebars, and I've grown to really like this dashboard. The screen is about 4 inches diagonal, and it's easy to read at a glance. Even under bright sunlight, the readout is clear. I haven't struggled to see my speed or battery, which is great since a lot of scooters have faint displays in daylight. The dashboard shows the essentials: current speed, battery level, the ride mode, and odometer trip distance. Using the controls took a little learning at first, but it's pretty straightforward. There are finger trigger throttles on the right and a couple of buttons near the display for power and mode menu navigation. I can toggle through the modes easily with a press, even while riding. One feature I love is that the scooter's display menu lets me set a passcode lock. It's not a replacement for a physical lock, but it adds a layer of security when I'm running into a store for a minute. The controls also include things like the lights. I can turn the headlight and tail light on with a button. The turn signals are controlled by a small switch near the left grip, just like on a motorcycle or moped, which I find really convenient. Overall, the menu system and controls are user-friendly once you get the hang of them, and I appreciate that the VX4 isn't overly dependent on a smartphone app. In fact, you can use the scooter fully without ever connecting a phone. The important part is the LCD dashboard gives me all the info I need while riding, and it hasn't given me any issues. The scooter is equipped with turn signals. There are orange LED turn signals integrated into the rear of the deck and also at the ends of the handlebars. When I signal a turn, they flash visibly. I ride in the streets a lot, often sharing lanes or at least mixing near traffic, and having real turn signals is a big plus for safety. Cars and cyclists can actually see when I'm about to turn or change lanes. It makes me feel more confident riding on the road, especially at night. Speaking of night, the lighting on the VX4 is excellent. The front headlight is bright. It's rated around 60 lux. I'm not an expert on lux, but I can say it lights up a good stretch of road ahead of me. The rear has not only the turn signals, but also a brake light that illuminates when I squeeze the brakes. Between the headlight, tail brake light, and signals, I feel the scooter is very visible in low light conditions. The scooter even has a USB charging port on the dashboard where I can plug in a phone or GoPro. To wrap up my thoughts, the VMAX VX4 LT has proven to be an excellent all-around electric scooter for me. It's not a specialized extreme performance scooter, but that's kind of the point. It does everything I need it to do and does it extremely well. The top speed and acceleration are more than enough for spirited riding, yet the scooter always felt safe and stable at those speeds. It climbs hills and handles rough paths better than any competitor I've tested at the same price range. The comfort from the suspension and tires means I actually enjoy longer rides instead of dreading bumps. And the build quality gives me confidence that this scooter will hold up over time. I'm not babying it, and it's taking the abuse in stride. Are there any downsides? Well, it's heavy. There's no denying that carrying 60 pounds around is a workout. So if portability and lightweight are your top priorities, you'd have to compromise on some of the VX4's benefits. Also, if you're a true speed demon wanting 30 plus miles per hour, the VX4 LT might feel a bit tame at 25 miles per hour max. But for a reliability first, dependability first performance scooter, I actually think VMAX struck a great balance. It's quick but not crazy, feature rich but not overly expensive, and solidly built without being ridiculously heavy or bulky for riding. I appreciate that I can rely on this scooter for my daily commute, then have fun with it on the weekends all with the same machine. I'm really happy to own it, and I plan to keep riding it for a long time to come. Safe to say, the VMAX VX4 LT has lived up to its promise as a versatile commuter.